Guys, I'm Dia.
And I'm Shreya, and welcome to Blockly Music. In this activity, you will learn how to code a song in Blockly.
So this activity has 3 videos, and right now you're watching the first one, which is basically an introduction to music. If you already know how to read music, feel free to skip ahead to the second video.
In the second video, you will learn how to use the music blocks in Blockly to code notes.
And in the third video, you'll learn how to use functions in Blockly.
So you guys ready to get started? Let's go!
Yeah.
How many of you guys can speak another language? I'm learning to speak French in school, but I'm not very good at it. But did you know that music is a language? I mean, think about it. You can read music, you can write music, you can speak or play music, and you can understand music. If you learn music and you know how to do all of those things I just said with music, then technically you can communicate with people all around the world. I mean, everyone listens to some kind of music. It might not be the same music you listen to, but it's music. And that's why music is called the universal language. Everyone has the ability to learn music, and everyone can understand it. So in this video, you guys are going to learn the basics of reading music, which is the first step in learning music. As I mentioned earlier, music is a language, which means there are letters of some sort. These letters are used to write songs. So the English alphabet has 26 letters, A through Z. But music only has 7 letters. I know it sounds weird, but it's true. There are only 7 letters, and these 7 letters, or music notes, make up all the songs you know. These notes can be changed to sound different. They can be played in different orders or different rhythms, but we don't need to get into all that right now. So the 7 letters are A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I know, it's the first 7 letters of the alphabet, but these letters represent music notes. Right now they don't look like music notes, they look like letters. So what do music notes look like? Before I show you what they look like, I'm going to show you where they live. So this is called a music staff. It has 5 lines and 4 spaces in between the lines. Each space or line is home to one specific note, and they can't be shared. I know there are more than 7 spots on the staff. 5 lines plus 4 spaces equals 9 spots. I can put 9 music notes, which is true, but music only has 7 letters or 7 notes, so some of the notes are repeated. This thing over here is called a clef. This one specifically is called the treble clef. There are many different clefs, and each clef just shifts a note. The staff will always stay the same, 5 lines and 4 spaces. But depending on the clef, the notes might just live on a different line or space. It's okay if you don't really understand what a clef is right now, but that's okay because it doesn't really affect today's activity. But it does show up, and I wanted to let you guys know what it was in case you were curious. So now that I've told you where the notes live, let me show you which notes live on the lines. So the 5 line notes of the treble clef are E, G, B, D, and F. I know the notes all look the same. It's just a circle with a line in the middle. But the letters don't actually represent what's on the line. The letters represent the line itself. So if anything's on this first line over here, it's an E. If anything is on the second line, it's a G. If anything is on the third line, it's a B. If it's on the fourth line, it's a D. And if it's on the fifth line, it's an F. Even if it's in line with other notes, that doesn't change the value of the note. So let's say I put something over here. These two are in line. That just means they're played at the same time. But because this note is still on the fourth line, that means it's a D. And this note is on the first line, which means it's an E. So how are you supposed to remember this though? It's just letters and lines. You could get them mixed up. Well, let me tell you this. There's a clever way to remember these notes and their order. Just remember this sentence. Every good boy deserves fudge. I know, it sounds silly, but it works. Each word starts with a note, and they're in order from the first line to the fifth line. So now that we've covered the notes that are on the lines, let's move on to the space notes. The 4 space notes on the treble clef are F, A, C, and E. Like the line notes, these letters represent the spaces, not what the note looks like. Anything in this first space is an F. Anything in the second space is an A. If it's in the third space, it's a C, and if it's in the fourth space, it's an E. The easiest way to remember these notes is just face. It's literally the notes in order, F-A-C-E. So you're probably wondering how there's another E and F. There's also an E and F on the lines. But as I said earlier, the notes repeat. It's easier to see that when you see all of the notes together. So these are the notes of the treble clef. As you can see, the notes repeat. There's 2 E's and there's 2 F's. So music, it'll start on an A, which is somewhere all the way down here, and then it loops through, and once it gets to G, it starts again on A, and it keeps going and going and going. So I hope this made sense and that you learned something new about music. Feel free to keep this image up when you're working on the activity.
Now we're going to start talking a little bit about rhythm and beats. In Blockly, each measure will have 4 beats in it, and 1 quarter note will be equal to 1 beat. So, as you can see over here, I have different types of notes. The notes are different because each note is worth a different number of beats, as you can see here. So, 1 whole note is worth 4 beats. A half note is 2 beats. A quarter note is 1 beat. And an eighth note is half a beat. It works the same way for rests. For the different type of rests, which are seen here, they have a different value of beats. A whole rest is 4 beats. Half rest is 2 beats. Quarter rest is 1 beat. Eighth rest is half a beat. Since I have to have 4 beats in one measure, I can mix and match notes and rests together in one measure as long as the total number of beats is 4. So, for example, I could have 2 half notes in one measure. Since each half note is worth 2 beats, having 2 half notes will give me a total of 4 beats, which completes the measure. I could also have 1 half note and 1 half rest. Since each is worth 2 beats, having both of them would give me a total of 4 beats. I could also have 4 quarter notes or 4 quarter rests. Since each quarter note is worth 1 beat, having 4 of them will give me a total of 4 beats. I can also have 8 eighth notes. Since each eighth note is worth half a beat, having 8 of them will give me a total of 4 beats. So that's all the rhythm you need to know for Blockly in this specific activity. But in music, there are multiple more different types of notes and rests that are worth different types of beats. And you can also have measures that are worth more than 4 beats and less than 4 beats as well. But for the purpose of this activity, we'll just be focusing on these specific notes and measures that have a total of 4 beats in them.